So hi, my name is Cujo. Just gonna hop in front of the mic and then give another commentary on what I've been thinking about. In the shower after my workout today, I was thinking about how hard the struggle of being a creative is, because the act of creating is kind of the reward. Like, you don't get rewarded for doing creative work, really, unless other people find value in the work that you do. And even then, if you do like streaming, like distribution services, like you make $1 from every 400 plays. So if you're not any place in the game really, or like have any notoriety, I mean, I'm a small guy, so I've never really done it for notoriety, but I basically don't make anything from the music that I make. And same with these videos, like I have made nothing from the videos so far. And I think that that's completely fine. Like if it's in the entirety of me doing these projects that I don't make any money, that's completely fine. It's just hard. Like I wanted to acknowledge that. It's hard to justify doing things that don't feed you or don't reimburse your lifestyle or help fund your life or give you life. I mean, these things, they do give me life in different ways. Like I think that creative part of me would go batshit crazy if I didn't have an outlet to dump that energy into. But at the same time, like just because like stuff doesn't do well, like it doesn't mean that it isn't a success. In fact, a lot of the stuff that I've made, including this video, I don't really expect it to get really anything. But I was trying to be the most honest that I could be with myself in the shower, because it was something that I was thinking about. And I honestly feel like that I've stagnated as an artist. I mean, I've kept up on making music. I've been very routine based, and I've gotten progressively better at producing and making videos. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of the things I do is uninspired, and I'm in a creative bubble of sorts. Like I'm in my own little thing that I'm doing, and I'm not really progressing in any which area. I'm honestly just kind of doing the same thing over and over. And I know that, well, for one, it leads you to being insane. And for two, if I use anything like weight training or just any form of life, any type of growth, if you're not growing, you just end up dying. That's just how nature and life itself works. And that's how our lives work eventually when we stop growing. Like from our biology, we progressively, I think from like 40 onwards, we start to atrophy and die, which I'm grateful that nature put this time limit on us, because I think that that's what ends up making life so beautiful. I think it would lose all beauty that it has if it wasn't this way. I mean, I've made a couple videos talking about this concept of samsara, but it's an Eastern idea that the cycle of life and death is what life is. Life is full of highs and full of lows, and if you're in a low, there is a high coming, and if you're in a high, there's a low coming. So I feel like in some ways I'm in my high right now. Like there's things going on in my life that I think are fantastic, and creatively I'm at my low. Like I feel very uninspired, and I'm still making art, and some of the art I think is great, but I'm not producing what I feel like is really inspired best work. But I know that it'll come. The thing is I know the actions that I need to take in order to progressively grow as an artist. And for me, I'm thinking about it, and I need to go outside of my bubble a little bit and then pull other people into my process, and then work around the other people using my own process and kind of expand my bubble into other people's. I want to make more of a routine out of my creative work for the channel and for the music. I mean, I have a very solid routine, but a lot of it is behind the shadows or like behind closed doors, and I just want to be more open about that process, I think. So there's things I'm going to try to work on. I honestly think that spending some of my energy on creating tutorial type things and including other people in that process would be a win-win for both my relationships and for my content and just for society as a whole, I guess I would say. Like I think I could help individuals, and at the same time, if I record it and put it on YouTube and do my typical like YouTube type stuff, it would just be very beneficial for everybody involved, because I think people watching could learn, as well as the people that I sit and teach things. I could also teach them how to do stuff that they're interested in, and they would get a huge benefit out of that too. I never really fancied myself as much of a teacher per se, so building up that identity is going to be very interesting, because I haven't done that in a while. Like I used to not be a musician in quotes, and always had an interest in music. And eventually, at some point, I had started making music without having the identity. And eventually, I got to a point where like that, I'm cozy in the identity that I have, and I'm cozy with the identity of being like a commentator. But I need to keep pushing myself into areas that I think I could benefit myself and others. Like, it's one thing to keep talking about the ideas that I have to do, and it's another to actually just do them. So this video for me is kind of a form of I need to push myself creatively and keep going and not stick with what I'm doing right now. Like, I think what I'm doing is fine, but it's going to atrophy and die. And I think that my own channel can be a reflection of that. But always a baseline, I think I've treated YouTube as like a journal of sorts, and I've wanted to just hop on and give a raw thought and what I plan to do. So when I say I'm going to do something, I really hold myself to it. So there's stuff I said in the previous video that I made that I'm going to hold myself to as well. I'm going to figure out how to implement it, and I'm going to work with the people who really support me and the people who I've worked with into trying to implement the ideas that I've had better and new ideas that I've also had. So I think if you're a creative watching this, the thing that you fear doing the most is probably the most important thing that you should be doing in terms of, well, anything, not just your creative process. But for me, I have a big fear of basically being found as an imposter from the people that I work with. Like, if I were to work with other people, they would find out like that I'm an imposter, which, you know, I don't really have anything to show for this channel other than the things I've created. So it's not really like I'm an imposter. I don't really know where it comes from, but I guess like I have a fear of not being seen as legit, I guess, and I need to get over that fear to actually jump into the places that I do want to be and be involved with the people that I do want to be involved with, because I don't want to sit and just bullshit to a mic, basically. Like, I want there to be dialogue, I want there to be connection, and I want to help people mostly. So I'm gonna figure out better ways to do that, essentially. And at the same time, I'm gonna still creatively express myself and keep doing my thing. It's not like I'm completely changing everything and going from the ground up. I think I would just like to designate more time to creating projects that are purely just gonna help others and not be self-indulgent, I guess, and just keep working on stuff for myself, because I've done that for a long time. I feel like I got to the point with the Fool, an EP that I made, where I proved to myself that I'm a really good producer, and I think that I have a lot of stuff that I could share with other people in that regard. And the same thing with making videos or playing Melee. I mean, there's stuff that I love doing that I haven't even really dug into on the channel except like once or twice. So Cujo, if you're listening to this in the future, I'm going to hold you accountable, but if there's something that you fear doing, try to make that your priority, and you need to figure out how to get over the hurdles of doing what you fear. Because if you always just choose love in the face of fear, love always wins, even if it leads to your death, I guess, or your ego death. Yeah, being a creative is hard. Like, it's not really that like I'm going to gain any reward from making any changes like this anyway, but becoming better as a creative and as a person, I think, has always been the reward for me. The process has always been a reward, and that's what being a creative really is all about, is being in love with the process and creating just for the sake of creating and nothing more and nothing less. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with right now. If people would like to help me with it, I'm sure we could figure something out. I might reach out to some individuals that keep up with the channel, as well as reach out with some people that I've worked with, or just anybody interested, really. I want to build with the people who support me and like what I'm doing on the channel. So, and just with your pal Cujo in general. But yeah, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you liked it, like, subscribe, comment, YouTube stuff, typical YouTube commentator. Harassed me to actually hook up my camera to the computer because I have a DSLR and I have like all the equipment to hook it up to my computer. I just have not moved my desk and got it to a point where I could get the camera in front of my face to where I like with my mic and how everything is set up. I'm going to take initiative to do that this week too, so you can see more of my lovely face and then hopefully get some special guests on the channel more often. So yeah, thank you for taking the time to watch this again. I love you, and goodbye now.